Hey there, UKDCers. Today I have the long time coming review of the GEC Northfield number 77. This is made in the USA by Northfield, who are a sort of sub-company of Great Eastern Cutlery, who do Northfield, Tidute, Tom's Choice, Farm and Field. If you're familiar with any of those names, they're all Great Eastern Cutlery, and they're all, well, usually anyway, very high standard knives. That said, they're usually also, as they're like so well regarded, they're ultra collectible and usually sold out immediately, and then the price is jacked up ridiculous amounts on them. I have no idea what this should have sold for. However, I know I paid £195 for it on the second-hand market, which for this model, for the Barlow Northfield, is not a bad price at all. It'll come in this box here, which will contain some grease paper just to keep it nice and fresh, since these are $10.95, as you can see there. And that obviously means it's subject to patina, which, if you're unfamiliar with, is basically like a thin layer of oxidation, and will end up looking like, you got to get in the right light, that. See all that? And that's because I haven't oiled or cleaned this blade, but that's the look I'm going for on this one. I want this one to look, well used. This one, not so much. This one I want to keep a bit nicer, although I am still using it. But I think this one's just, I don't think a patina would suit this one so much, although it won't be the end of the world if it gets one. Modifications on this, I have actually dyed the handles to a darker shade of red. These were, it's an elderberry, there you go, elderberry camel bone, but it was a little on the pink side, so I took some Rit Dye More, the powder one, and that's made specifically for, actually I think I just used normal Rit Dye because this is an artificial. Anyway, you can go and check for yourself. I've done a video on the whole process of me potentially ruining this really expensive knife. Luckily it went well, so if you're looking to do it, ignore that video and click on the link in the description of that video, where there's a forum post to how to do it properly, which is what I followed. Action on this, it's quite a stiff but a very smooth action nonetheless, and by that I mean a hard pull, but it's, it's nice and smooth in between each. It's not like grindy or anything. And you do absolutely need to use the long pull there, which I'm a big fan of over nail nicks. But yeah, you might be able to get away with pinching this if it wasn't for the secondary blade. Well, in fact, I suppose I can test that, can't I? Yeah, if that wasn't in the way, you'd be able to do it. But this is a dual-bladed knife, and I quite like that. It would be more comfortable to handle while you're using it if it didn't have another blade sticking up, because of course it's actually designed to be held without the blade there, so you'd have nothing on this side, but of course you've got a blade, which is a little bit annoying, but such is the nature of multi-bladed knives. It's the same for this, it's the same for this. Any traditional with more than one blade in it suffers from the whole ruined ergonomics a little bit. Not that it's terribly uncomfortable at all, it's just not as comfortable as it could be. So yeah, spring strength I'll throw up on screen now for you. I think I've just done the main blade. The smaller blade is basically the same. We've got the steel, this is all steel I think, not nickel silver or anything, so you've got steel liners, steel springs, steel bolsters, steel pins, and God, if it isn't gorgeous, look at that. So you've got your huge Northfield logo on there, which I love. I was really drawn to that. This has been on my list for quite some time. Just like this style with a huge Northfield logo there. I will admit I did initially want the saw cut one, where it's, you know, it'd be a more similar colour to this, and there'd be a black saw cut pattern across here, and I could have dyed this a darker red, but as I state in my mod video, this camel bone actually has a really wonderful colour variation in there. It's quite hard to capture on camera, but you know, it goes from like a really nice light to a dark colour there, and same on this side. So anyway, obviously you can use this left-handed, it's fine. Fit and finish is phenomenal. You've got the absolutely beautiful, I mean, I just do this every time, but it's gorgeous. These two are just like sort of set, whereas these two are actually smoothed off, and yep. If I was a blind man, I wouldn't be able to tell you there was anything else there. Yeah, you can, well, actually, is that? No, there's definitely a little gap there. Yeah, this side's better. This side you can tell, like my nail can just catch a little bit. So it's not insanely perfect, but it's really, you know, that's such a crazy small nitpick. I always do it, but I'll always admit it if it's something pathetically small. You know, it's not like my thumb can detect that really. I mean, we'll get it on camera. You can see like that's basically level. If you're telling me you'd be unhappy with that, then I don't think there's a standard in the knife world high enough for you. So anyway, blade material 1095, edge retention on this, let's give it a go. I've used this, yeah, a fair old amount. I wouldn't say a crazy amount, but you know, look, it's got dreadful marks on the blade. Like you can see this here was from where I was cutting through a bit of cardboard or something, and it's just nicked the blade. I think that's the only really markedly bad thing on there. It is a shame, but like I said, I will use my knives very lightly. We're not talking like hard duty field work, but you know, it's half the joy for me actually having it in hand, and just good grief, look at that. I didn't think it was going to do this well, and I haven't so much just dropped this. This is exactly how it came from me from Mad Taz. I don't know if he's put his own edge on there, but I haven't used this at all, so there's no point in testing that one. But yeah, that'll do me. That's definitely performed better than this one did. I've put a brand new edge on there. I think I'm just getting past the you can get like a heat issue at the edge where they put it on a grinder wheel or something, so I'm just seeing if it's that. Jury's still out on that one. But this one is undeniably fine out of the box. Billboarding, you do get obviously a huge Northfield logo there, which is lovely. Northfield unexcelled, which is literally just stands for unexcelled, as in no one excels them. Made in USA. 77 12 18. 77 is the pattern number. 1 is the type of blade, which is clip point, which is number 1 in their category. I'll throw a thing up on screen so you can have a little reference. 2 is how many blades it's got, and then the last one is the year it was made in, so 2018, which is lovely. They'll also have on this side just GEC, Great Eastern Cutlery, and CAR for carbon, as in carbon steel. So that's your lot there. You do get yourself a nice little sharpening choil on both of the blades, which is great, especially for a really nice piece like this. You don't want to be scratching up that blade too much, or at all really. Centering on this, if I was going to be extremely picky, this one's just a touch off. Don't know if you can see that. You should be able to see that on camera. It's well within tolerances for me. I'm more than happy with that. You know, it's very near center. It's not touching anywhere near the sides. But if you were a collector, and you wanted only the best perfect centering, then good luck. And this one maybe wouldn't be for you. It's very, very slight though. Extremely pedantic, but you know, I'll highlight everything that I can. Blade play, no, and no. Since this is a GEC, there aren't really many stats, so I'm just going to quickly do them now for you rather than throwing them up on screen. There's the weight in fluid ounces, which is just ounces, and in grams. So 94 grams. So it's not a light knife. You know, it's substantial. Whereas, you know, something like the Urban here, almost half. Although the Urban is specifically designed to be extremely lightweight. So the cutting edge in inches of the big blade is 2.6. The actual blade length is that, all in inches. Knife length is 3.6. That is your behind the edge thickness. And the blade stock. There you go. I guess thickness. Actually, that's all anyone will really want to know. Okay, so it's basically the exact same size as a normal Victorinox. Obviously a lot bigger than the little tiny one, and very comparable, if not a little smaller, than the UK PK. And then obviously a lot smaller than the PM2, a 940, smaller than a mini grip, although closer, and a Buck 110. So, I've not had any glaring issues with this knife whatsoever. Now that I've done all the, you know, sort of just factual stuff, I can dote on it a little bit now. This thing has been such a joy to use. This is another one of those, I can't believe I've got that in my pocket, and then every time you take it out, you just, you know, you want the time to have a good look at this, just, you know, the intricacies of the bone, how nice that Northfield logo is. You know, this isn't one you just quickly get out, use, and then put back in your pocket. It's one you have a stare at. And I've had only compliments about this knife. No one's, I mean, I'm sure someone in the comments will be, I hate that, and you're welcome to. But personally, I love this. There you go. It is hedonistically expensive for a traditional knife when you can get something similar. Not similar in quality, although these are great. You know, this absolutely works and is absolutely sharp. I mean, I made it sharp, but you know, they're fine. They'll take an edge. It's Sorite steel, that kind of gubbins. But unless you really, really, really are a collector and you really like, you really must have insane fit and finish. I think it's going to be hard to pay 195 when you can pay about 15. So I guess that's my closing thought on that is, if you're willing to pay the price for this, you don't need to watch this review. You already know what you're doing. You already know you want one of these. You probably already have one. If you've not heard of GEC before, you'd probably be looking at entering into the Rough Riders anyway, just to see if you like the patterns. But maybe in the future. Just jump up there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Cheers.